All right, guys. Today we're going to be talking about you're getting blocked. I'm coming here talking bullshit. But today we're going to be talking about the Dark Game series. Now, this shit is don't learn this shit. I'm just doing it because I know there's motherfuckers out there. Y'all want to hear it. Y'all been asking for it, especially my Patreon guys. Always asking for Dark Game. Y'all want to learn this shit? Okay. Y'all can learn it. This shit ain't nothing pretty. You gotta be a ruthless, cold motherfucker to really want to learn this shit. And I'm telling you motherfuckers now, with this Dark Game, listen, I was once there. I was once in that dark place, so drop your ones in the chat if you ready to get this shit started. Cause we about to get it started. Waiting on y'all motherfuckers. I'm giving y'all, we're gonna start in 1 minute. Matter of fact, make it 2. Drop your ones in the chat when you're ready. Cause I'm ready. By the way, this is an exclusive. This is going on Patreon. So like, I really thought out this one. This one, I took a lot of notes on. Oh shit, I'm on the wrong one. I stay doing that. Why do I stay doing that? I stay going on the wrong fucking one. I stay going on the wrong fucking one. Nah, I switched it. I always do that. All right, guys, let's get into it. I be going on my personal account. I can be doing that. This some motherfucking evil shit y'all motherfuckers about to learn. But let's get into it, man. I know we streaming. How many people in the chat? Oh shit. I'll go back. Hold on. Hold on. If I buy glasses, can I pick them up in the Bronx? You probably can, but I'll just ship them to you. I mean, you gotta buy them through the website anyway. All right, guys, let's get started. We about to get started on this shit. Motherfucking Dark Game. I'm sorry, I'm eating. Get my notes. Damn, what did I do it on? Did I take notes on the other phone? I thought I took it on this. I'm fucking up. Hold on, guys. Hold on 1 second. Don't go anywhere. the fuck? No. This is an exclusive. If you're joining late, just fast forward to when I start talking, because this shit ain't staying on YouTube. It's not gonna be on the podcast. I'm recording it here, but this is strictly going on. It's strictly going on Patreon. That's how crucial this shit is. Now, let's get into it. I'm gonna do this one a little different. I'm not on no time restraint. I'm not in no rush. Calm and relax. I like to eat. We're gonna do this shit on my time. Sit down. Grab your popcorn. Let's get into it. So, today we're gonna be talking about Dark Game. Now, Dark Game is very evil, very fucked up shit. Especially if you're doing it intentionally. And today's topic is how to get women to buy you things. Of course, using Dark Game. Now, if you're on Patreon, you'll see that a lot of this stuff is regular game. A lot of these things you need to do anyway. What separates you from the Dark Game and the regular game is you literally say and do anything just to get what you want by any means. Now, I don't do this shit. Not anymore. I don't have to do this shit. I don't advise you guys to do it. This is really fucked up. But this is the shit I used to do when I was in a darker place. Not necessarily a dark place like I wanted to commit suicide or anything. I've never been that guy, you know. But a dark place where I saw women as objects. As just like, oh, let's just get into it. So, when you're trying to get a woman to spend money on you, you know, looks really, they don't matter to a degree, right? It's all about the mindset. Because, of course, you got a young girl who has this whole city girl mindset where they're like, well, you know, what you spending on me? I want an 8-figure nigga. I want this, that, and the third. Those kind of girls with that kind of mindset, chances are, you know, they're really going to spend something on you unless you're already kicking out an X amount of dollars and X amount of money, right? Now, fat or ugly woman, it kind of works best on. You know why? And this is why I tell guys, they're like, oh, I shouldn't have to have game. I shouldn't have to do this, that, and the third. I should just have a girl that will accept me. Yes. A fat or ugly girl will just accept anything that comes their way. Just about any girl that shows interest, they will be happy with. Any guy that shows them interest, a fat or ugly girl, they'll be happy with. Anything that comes their way, they will accept. They will entertain just about anything. Doesn't matter the race. And this is the guys that say that, they probably deal with those kind of girls. And think about your situation right now. Look at the girl you're dealing with. Is she okay? Is she cute? Is she bad? Is she hot? Is she kind of and she treats you well? Is she ugly? Think about your situation. But these girls are easier to manipulate, and it works best on them. Like I said, because they're willing to do anything and they're willing to accept anything that comes their way. So now, it can work on pretty women, but you have to make sure that they have the right mindset. Now, the women that look good and they're pretty, this works best on the women that have that I'm a strong, independent woman and I don't need a man for anything, right? The women that say, well, I don't need a man, I pay my own bills, I do this, that, and the third. Those women objectify themselves and they make themselves available to be manipulated by men who know what they're doing. Somebody like that, I could easily take advantage of them. Oh, you a strong, independent woman? Okay, well, you gonna pay for tonight's dinner, Miss Independent? You know, you joke about it, and I'm like, yeah, I got it. We could pay for this too. Cause she's trying to go neck for neck, but she deep down, that's not really what she wants. She don't want to compete. So these women are real easy to coerce into buying things, right? Especially when they start to care about you. So, the strong, independent, I don't need a man type of work, this works best on them, because she usually believes in the whole idea of 50-50 anyway, versus the girl who believes that a man should provide everything, the girl who's trying to have a hot girl summer, the one who wants an 8-figure nigga, and this and that and third, the ones who believe that, she was brought up to that a man's supposed to provide, a man is supposed to do all this stuff. So a girl who has that strong independent mindset and usually believes in 50-50, or she can provide and do anything that a man can do, these girls are more likely to be manipulated, and you can definitely get a lot out of them, and you can get a lot of shit out of them. You can get them to buy you a lot of things. Now, like I said, the girls that are super hypergamous, it's not going to work on, because you got to understand, it's her paradigm. She was raised with a certain belief. She was raised to believe that, a man is supposed to provide, a man is supposed to do this and that and the third. And especially with society today, 80% of women want like 20% of men. They want the men that have the money. They want the men that that's gonna provide. They want these kind of men. So for you to say that, oh, I want you to get me this and the third, that's going against her paradigm. Her whole belief system is in whack when she finds herself doing that. And they may buy you a gift here and there, but if you're trying to get PS5s out of them, you're trying to get like a lease and all that crazy shit. I've never done that personally. I've gotten a lot of things, but I've had too much pride to ask a girl to pay for put a fucking car in my name. But I know guys who do it. And I know how they do it, because I could be that guy. And I mean a lease. Like, I know motherfuckers who have like a whole entire apartment. I had a bitch try to accuse me of that. Try to accuse me of saying, oh, I thought you were gonna be that guy. Bitch, get the fuck out of here. Me? Fuck out of here. But there's a way to do it. Now, how do you get them to this point? First things first. You gotta be fucking the shit out of these bitches. And I mean, you can't be giving out no subpar dick. She gotta be coming. I mean, she has to tell you that this is the best dick that she ever had. You gotta be dropping dick off. I mean, like, your pipe game gotta be on Porn Star. Seriously. If you're gonna manipulate a girl, if you're gonna get this shit out of here, if you really want to learn this dark game, you gotta work on that pipe game. Stuck for the Lord, forgive me, but yeah, listen, I told you guys don't learn this shit, but she gotta be dickmatized. The pipe game has to be good, and you need to be on her mind, because when you tap into her soul and you create that sexual bond, she's thinking about it. And she's thinking about it more, usually because, and it's not hard. All you guys got to do is work on lasting longer. Most guys, average sex lasts anywhere from 5 to like 15, 20 minutes. That's a quickie for me. 20 minutes? I'm already fucking bitches for hours. Me and my mans in them fucking bitches for hours. Everybody in my personal, we are fucking bitches for hours. Seriously. So, if you want to get your way, it plays a very big role. And it plays an even bigger role if you're the best she ever had. So, this will work in your favor big time. And because it's better to gauge her emotions, It's better to gauge her emotions when you're dicking her down and you're fucking her good. You getting her emotional. She's thinking about it. You making her come over and over and over and over again. She losing track how many times she came. You fucked her real good when she's exhausted after, because she came so many times and took so much energy out of her. Right? And it's definitely crucial to need this. If you're not spending any money, and you want this girl to be all on you, you want this girl to be buying you shit, that dick game got to be on point. That dick game got to be on punto. For real. You got to be dicking her down. Especially if you're not giving a helping hand and you're not trying to spend all that much money. You're not trying to manipulate her. Maybe you don't have a lot to offer right now. And maybe sometimes maybe you're not even trying to practice dark game.
Maybe sometime you just don't have it at the moment and you're working on yourself, but you don't feel like spending money. So maybe you want to divert her attention a little bit. Maybe you want to cloud her judgment. And what you got to understand, when you're fucking her good, it clouds her judgment. There's a lot of girls who I fuck good, and I know, like, if let me get her in bed. Like, you know, I know she's upset right now. She's mad. Let me fuck her. I fuck her. Then she forgets about everything. And maybe not forgets, but forgets for the moment. And then her whole attitude change. And then when you fucking and you talking in her ear, I know this. You know this pussy mine, right? You know I love this pussy, right? And while she's coming, talk to her while she talk her through her nut. Yeah, come on this shit. Whose pussy is? I own it. You my property, right? And you just fucking with her psyche. You're getting into her soul. So that's very important. This and if you're gonna manipulate girls, you're gonna get them to buy you shit. You're gonna have your way. Her fucking her good is super important. It's super important. It's super important. And for you motherfuckers that don't have good dick, you will know if you have good dick because you already had bitches going crazy. Now, regular game, when you still manipulating, you implementing this dark game, aside from the good dick, you know, regular game still has to be applied here. You know, you still have to make your attention valued. Your attention still has to be valued. Your attention still has to have some type of value on it. Meaning you can't be so readily available. You still have to implement anxiety. You know, you still can't be talking to her every day. You can't still be talking to her all day every day, right? You still have to implement anxiety, the different types of anxiety, the competition anxiety. These things for real still have to be implemented. So when you're studying and you're doing this dark game, regular game still applies. Now you have to have a balance with it. There will be some simp behavior because you got to understand when you're implementing dark game, you almost are literally doing anything to get your way. And as many girls that I've been with, I could have been with just as much if I didn't have just pride alone. My pride alone didn't allow me to do a lot of things where I could have just like, oh, it's okay, baby. I could have just catered to her in that moment and had it and got my way, but I just wasn't like that. I just wasn't like that. So I passed up on a lot. But when you're implementing dark game, you're going to be doing a lot of things. And your pride, if you have a lot of pride, you're going to have to put that shit aside. I mean, you can still implement dark game, but you're going to basically do and say a lot of things. And you got to mold yourself to the girl, too. You got to know what she likes. You got to know her dislikes, right? You can disagree with her, but you don't want to do too much disagreeing. You just want to implement anxiety. You know, you want to always play yourself as the nice guy, the innocent guy, right? A lot of deception. So your regular game still has to apply. Now, competition anxiety is very important here. Why? Because this will put her in a position for wanting a relationship from you even more, right? So, you know, when you're talking to her, when you first start talking, same thing like I put on Patreon when I say, when you're building your rotation, what should you say? Yes, I talk to somebody else, but nothing serious. I'm open to a relationship if we vibe, if everything is good and everything is right. But meanwhile, meanwhile you just telling her what she want to hear. But the competition anxiety is very important. Like I said, I don't do this shit anymore because I just don't have the time for it. But this is what you want to do. The competition anxiety still has to be applied because you still want her in that relationship. So when it's time for the relationship and you're gonna give her this relationship to be deceiving her, it's definitely very important. So competition anxiety still has to apply. I know a lot of guys who are straight players and they just tell a girl whatever they want, but that's the difference between their game and my game. My game is, you know, more top tier. So you still need the competition anxiety to have it more effective, to have her chasing you, to have her desiring you. So competition anxiety is definitely still very important. You still have to implement your basic game competition anxiety. So when it's time to give her that relationship, she's going to be begging for it and she's going to value it a lot more versus when you're not doing that. Now, And when you're implementing the competition anxiety, you got to make sure that, you tell her girls are around. You still want to cater to her sometime. But when you tell her that, she's going to, you got to have a lot of, she's going to have a lot of trust issues at first. But you can show her that, you can show her that like through your affection, through your time, the time that you give her, and this shit is really time consuming too. That she can learn to trust you, but you got to set your boundaries so you don't set yourself up, because a lot of guys get caught cheating for stupid shit, a lot of stupid shit. Like I talked about in the last video where I talked about girls pick up on the little subtle things, and they talk about his intuition, but a lot of times not intuition, because you talking about you going to sleep at fucking 8:00. Who the fuck goes to sleep at 8:00 and you really going to fuck another bitch? Like, come on. And then it's not in your regular daily pattern to do shit like that. So when she sees something off, now she's getting suspicious. You guys aren't playing chess. You're not thinking about the things you do beforehand, right? You got to think about these things. Now, let's see what we have here. And another thing to prolong the relationship is, to tell her, I have a lot of trust issues, and I've been hurt before in the past. You can use that to your advantage. And it's funny. I see how it works, because myself, I really did have trust issues, and I still do. But I see when I tell women that buys me a lot of time. And then, I say, well, you don't like it. They want me to trust them. Well, I say, well, you can, if you could prove to me that I can trust you, then I'll trust you. You can prove to me that I trust you, then I'll trust you. And that is something that'll buy you some time before getting to the relationship. And then she'll be more invested. She'll prove to you she's not talking to any other guys. Meanwhile, you got a whole roster of girls. And the difference between having a rotation and pulling dark game is that you're going to tell these girls they're your girlfriend. They're going to think that they're the only one. And if your game is really top tier, they will truly think that they are the only one. Motherfuckers that don't have good game, you can't really pull this off. So those are some things that will make her invest. But telling her that you have trust issues will buy you time, and say, well, you got to really like put on a show. You really got to put on, you be like, well, I just really have trust issues, and I've been fucked over in the past. Even if you haven't, I've been fucked over in the past, and I just really have trust issues, and I want to love, I want a relationship, I want to be with somebody, I want a monogamous relationship, but if the right person can just show me that I can trust them, then we can do that. And that's how you really need to pull that off. Now, super important when doing this, and this is not something that I've talked about it on a podcast before, but building the attachment. Now, studies have shown that it takes women about 2 to 3 months to fall in love. And usually that's how long it takes to really build the attachment, And you have to build the attachment before she starts to buy you these big ticket items. Like if you want a girl to buy you a car, if you want a girl to buy you a fucking, buy you an apartment, buy you a Rolex, because I've had girls who was willing to do those things for me. I had to talk to 2 or 3 girls out of not buying me a fucking Rolex. My ex was going to buy me a car. I was like, no, don't do that. And 2, one girl I was fucking for a long time was going to buy me a car. But she wasn't my girlfriend, but I saw her so much. We hung out so much. She was basically a girlfriend without the title, and she was okay with that. But I actually like these girls, and I have a lot of pride. So I was like, nah, don't do that. Listen, bitch nowadays want to buy me a Rolex shit. Hey, baby, I ain't saying nothing. And I'm getting the money now, but it's like, only girls that's going to do that, the girls that I'm truly invested in, and which isn't many. There's really only one, to be honest, but you could bring it down to 2, I guess. So you have to build the attachment. If you're going to get these big ticket items, if you're going to be manipulating her, if you're going to be implementing this dark game, and it takes time. It takes about 2 to 3 months. Studies have shown a woman takes about 2 to 3 months to fall in love. Men, it usually takes them anywhere from a few days to a week. You motherfuckers suck, right? A few days to a week. But one key thing, now be careful with this. Be very careful. I already told you, you guys have to be laying the pipe down good. But another thing is make sure she's on birth control, because another good way to build the attachment is when you are splashing in her, when you are shooting up her club, when you are coming in her. You got to understand, like on a deeper neurological level, like on a deeper level, when you are putting your life force in her, you're putting your semen in her, you have yourself, you have some of you inside of her. So this builds the attachment even on a deeper level. Your DNA's inside of her, right? You know, there's been studies done on this. You can search this shit yourself. It builds the attachment even on a deeper level. And this is why you see girls who are promiscuous, who are fucking all different types of guys and just tell them you could come in me. You know, they have a lot of stress issues. They have a lot of mental problems because they're taking on so many different men's essence. They're taking on men's essence, right? So when you're nutting and coming in her, she's taking on your essence. She's becoming a part of you. And this is why you see a lot of girls, they start to pick up your habits. They start to pick up your ways. You know, they start to like talk like you. They start to do the same things as you. They want you to watch the shows that she watch. I'm telling you, this is very crucial, but I say be careful with it because you can accidentally get this girl pregnant. And by this time, you've been running all this dark game on her. She gonna keep that fucking baby. Listen, this is dark fucking game. I can't guarantee anything with this shit. But what I'm telling you is, if you want to build the attachment effectively, if you want to take her fucking soul, and it takes about 2 to 3 months of doing this shit, besides fucking the shit out of her good, you got to be laying down good pipe. Make sure she's on birth control. Bust big nuts inside of her. Stuck for the law. Oh my God, this shit is crazy. And like me actually saying it, it sounds so bad. But this is dark game. You got to be busting them nuts. Because on a deeper level, you know, your DNA is in her. Your essence is in her. So if you're going to be building that attachment, this is definitely how to do it. This is definitely how to do it. And this is definitely one of the ways to make her really attached to start getting the things that you want out of her on a deeper level, right? Now, the thing with dark game is you're not necessarily alpha, so it's like anything applies. You have to adapt to the female. You have to know her, and every situation is a little different, right? Because you're playing her, you're using effective and efficient game, so there will be some beta activity, and you got to be careful with this one, because sometimes when you're doing this and you're talking to so many different girls, you have to adapt. You have to adapt to that girl. Every girl's a little different. Some of these girls are feeling themselves a little more. So some of the beta activity that you need to give to her needs to be balanced. See, a girl that is really feeling herself, a girl that's super cocky, the beta activity that you give her, it needs to be balanced out extremely. So say, for example, if the girl is kind of cute, maybe she's a 6, or maybe you want to say a 7, right? So you're holding hands with her. You're buying her flowers. You're complimenting her. A lot of validation, you know. You need to then go long stretches without talking to her. Meaning, say, for example, you go out in the day, you're holding hands, you're giving her lots of kisses, lots of affection. You even buy her flowers before you meet up with her. Because you got to understand, you're going to be talking and basically having 2 to 3 to 4 other girlfriends. So while you're doing that, when you see this girl, her time spent with you needs to be a very happy time. To forget about all that time you're ignoring her. To forget about all the time that you're not spending with her. Because listen, if you have a job, if you're going to the gym, and then you're talking, you have about 3 to 4 girlfriends, legit girlfriends, not even girls you're talking to. This is dark game. The rules are a little different. It's going to be it's going to be time consuming. So when you're with her, you need to be the fucking quintessential romantic fucking, Casanova. So you buy her flowers. But if she's about a 6 or a 7 and she's feeling herself, she has a little bit of confidence, after you leave her, you need to ignore her. Say if you leave her around 5, 6, 7, don't talk to that bitch to the next day until around 4. And when you say, be like, hey, and she hits you, be like, wow, you didn't talk to me all day. Instead of be like, yo, chill, I was busy. You'd be like, oh, baby, listen, I was busy. I'm so sorry, baby. I love you so much. I'm just super busy. I've been working, and I'm just really busy. I'm so sorry. I'll make it up to you. I promise. And then, you'd be like, oh, I got a surprise for you coming up. Plan a date. Who knows, And then maybe one day just pull up on her and give her flowers and leave her flowers at her door. You can get like some flowers sent to her house, something like that. Something that's really inexpensive, right? Something inexpensive. And what you got to realize about this type of stuff is when you spending time, you don't want to spend as much money, right? If you can get away with, and this is why I say you got to adapt to the girl. If you can get away with just going to Chick-fil-A and going to the movies, these are the type of things that you want to do. If you could spend no more than $20, $30, these are the type of things you want to do. But once again, like I said, sex is a very effective tool. Because when you laying down a pipe game right, when you laying down the dick game right, you have to use that as a tool to take advantage. So when you're doing this beta activity, it just has to be balanced. It has to be very balanced. And I can't really give you too many situations because every girl is different. Now, if she's a fat or an ugly girl, a girl that's not so cute, a girl that's grateful for anything you give her, you could give her a lot of beta activity. A lot of it. You still got to be a little balanced. You can't overdo it. And if you have a life, if you have other girls, other girlfriends you're gaming, then it'll be natural. It was like, oh, babe, what are you doing? And if you text her, and even with the ugly and the girls that's not, or if she's like a little overweight and you're using her and taking advantage, it's okay to even double text them sometime because there's going to be a lot of times you're ignoring her. So you could be like, if she doesn't respond, you'd be like, babe, what the fuck? Where are you? Why are you not talking to me? She'd be like, oh, sorry, babe, I was busy. Oh, okay, my bad. I just missed you a lot. And I was just thinking about the last time when you were like giving me head. Oh my God, you're the fucking best. I love you so much, right? Saying anything, just saying anything to just get your way, right? So eventually when you have her, you're asking her for favors and shit, that love and that beta shit is already built, Now, obviously when you're not able to talk to her, you got to blame everything on your purpose. You got to blame everything on your purpose. So when you're busy, you're either working, you're at the gym, and you're with family, right? These are the main things that are basically excusable, right? So when you're working, you're with your family, and you're at the gym, you have to make sure these are activities that you don't use your phone. Now, you have to set these standards from the beginning. Why? Because if you change up your routine mid-relationship, this is where females get suspicious. And this is where the rookies fuck up with cheating, right? Because you already have a certain pattern. You already have a certain technique. You already have a certain routine with this girl, standards that you set from the beginning. And once you change from it, this is telling her subconscious behavior, something's off here. His routine is off. And that's all the intuition is. It's the little things that you do off that are out of routine, out of pattern. So make sure you set these standards from the beginning. Whenever you're in the gym, whenever you're at work, whenever you're with your family, not saying you never answer the phone, but most of the time you're not going to be talking on the phone. These are standards that you have to set. So when you tell her I'm with my family and you're actually with your other bitch or your other girlfriend, right? You say, well, I was with my family or I'm at the gym. And she knows already from the jump, these are not times you talk on your phone. You are super focused. You are focused. You are a focused motherfucker when you're doing these things. Now, a lot of these things I actually do naturally. Like when I'm with my family, I might text. I actually do text, but I don't usually talk on the phone because I don't want my mom in my business. I don't want my brother. I don't really want everybody in my business. Sometimes I don't care. Sometimes I do, right? When I'm in the gym, I can't because I'm boxing. So I have gloves on my hand most of the time. I'm doing a lot of activities with my hand. Unless I'm using my timer on my phone, I'm usually not using my phone. But this is about setting those standards. So when your behavior starts to stray, it doesn't look shaky to her because she's gonna be like, oh damn, you're always like busy. Well, yeah, you know when I'm in the gym, I don't use my phone, babe. She'll be like, yeah, true, okay, yeah, but meanwhile you with another bitch. This is dark game, guys. Don't judge me. These are things I used to do, but this is dark game. And you guys wanted this shit, so now you're getting it. I don't want to hear any complaints. Don't judge me. I don't do this shit anymore. I promise you I don't. All right. So now you got to do these things at the beginning. So when you change your routine, you don't look crazy. Now, you got to set boundaries. Now, setting boundaries is super important, and this is how you don't get caught cheating. Because a lot of rookies get caught cheating because they're trying to be slick. They're trying to put themselves in a place where they're trying to prove their innocence, but it's not something you should be doing anyway, right? So you got to set boundaries from the very jump. And what are some of these boundaries? So, one, going through your phone. Going through your phone is not a thing. Going through your phone, we don't do the going through phones. Now, you can have a reason for that. You can tell her, like, I once dealt with that girl or I dealt with an ex. Even if it's a fictitious situation, even if the situation never happened. You say, well, I used to deal with a girl. I used to deal with an ex that was like, that always went through my phone, and she was so crazy. And one day she, like, texted my mom and cursed out my mom, and I had to break up with her. And ever since that day, I don't let any girls on my phone. I feel as if you trust me, there's no reason to go through my phone. I won't, and you obviously you can't go through her phone either. And a lot of you guys make that mistake regularly. This is regular game. Nobody should be going through your phone. But these are standards that you set at the beginning. Because meanwhile, you fucking mad bitches, you got other girlfriends, right? She's going through your phone. Why the fuck are you going through my phone? You should not be going through my phone. So that's a boundary that you have to set. And even on the first few dates, you need to tell them, like, yeah, I broke up with girls. These are all things that I've really done, but I'm telling you guys because they'll work. I've actually broken up with girls who went through my phone. Went through my phone without asking, going through my shit, and actually broke up with them. And they come back, they beg for me back, they want to be in a relationship, but I'm like, no, because you crossed my boundaries. So you had to be made an example of, right? And I did that shit when I was young. Like, I did that shit when I was young, like early 20s, even high school. I fucking broke up with girls for going through my phone. And I was in high school, I was a wild young buck because I was fucking girls from different schools, telling them they my girlfriend. I was doing a lot of wild shit. So definitely, these are some boundaries you want to set. Now, another big and important boundary is pulling up at your house unannounced. Unannounced. There will be no pulling up at your house unannounced. And that's a big no-no. And I'm gonna tell you why pulling up at your house unannounced is a big no-no, because for obvious reasons. You could have a girl at your house. You could have your other girlfriend at your house, whoever's at your house. But even more, it's a respect thing. Aside from that, this is regular game now. This is regular game you'll find on Patreon. This is why this video is not going on the podcast. This is why this is only going on Patreon. But you have to set these standards. And this is a boundary you have to set at the beginning of your relationship. Why? Because it's a respect thing. If you don't set boundaries, she will never respect you. And when she doesn't respect you, she will disrespect you. And when she starts to disrespect you regularly, and that is allowed, you know what's going to happen? She's going to start walking over you. She's going to be less turned on by you because there's no fear, there's no respect, there's nothing, right? So one, on a basic standard, you have to set these boundaries. Now, if you're pulling off dark game and you have another girl at your house and she pull-ups unannounced, like, oh, I'm coming over. No, you're not coming over. No, I'm not home right now. No, I don't. Like, I don't want to be bothered. I'm not in a good place right now. Or you have a legitimate excuse. And think about your excuses before you give them. Because a lot of times you guys give excuses. It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. And this is why you trigger her intuition, that female intuition. That's all that is. Saying and doing things that don't add up. Or you can say, well, I'm about to leave. I'm about to go to the gym. Or you can say, I'm working from home right now. Don't come over right now. I'm busy. So pulling up unannounced is another boundary that you need to set. And you'll prevent a lot of things happening. You'll prevent yourself from getting caught with another female. Right? Listen, if you're doing dark game, this shit is immaculate. You're not going to hear this no fucking where else. I'm giving you guys a fucking blueprint to get bitches to buy you shit. Now, and to take it a step further, because you're not trying to give off that. I mean, you can be alpha, but you need to be catering and understanding. And you say, listen, you're not going to take that kind of approach that I'm just giving you. So you say, well, I've been traumatized in past relationships where, a girl pulled up on me and she was just acting crazy. She broke my house window. She slashed my tires, and that shit it traumatized me. It traumatized me, and it's just really a pet peeve. It's really a pet peeve, and I just hate it. Like when girls do it, like I just honestly cut them off. And once again, you can tell her, I cut girls off for this. And like it's just something that I can't deal with. So it's not something I'm going to tolerate. So this is a very big boundary that you have to set at the beginning of the relationship. So when you're pulling off all this dark game, you don't have to worry about getting caught, right? And you just tell her you find it disrespectful and rude. And these are just boundaries that you have to set. Now, moving on to getting the big ticket items. This is important. Now, at the very beginning, you want to establish that 50-50 is the ideal way, right? Now, at the beginning, at the very first date, you maybe want to pay for the first date, which is okay. You can pay for the first date. You can even pay for the second date. That part is okay. Now, at some point, you need to make it clear to her that you have an ideal relationship. And women have been lied to so much nowadays that they think that they're equal to men, so women are making their own money and they're doing that and third. And even on a grand scale, most men usually do make more money than most women, right? But let's put it like this. So at some point, you need to make it clear that growing up, if you have both of your parents, going 50-50 is something that you saw. Going 50-50 is something that you believe in. Going 50-50 is something that it's an ideal situation for you, right? Even if you didn't have both of your parents, you can say, I used to watch The Cosby Show, or I used to watch some show, and I love how they did things, how one day the husband would pay for dinner, and the other day the woman would pay for dinner, and they just would go back and forth, and they built together as a family, and they built their wealth, and they had joint accounts. Oh my God, if you make a fucking joint account with the girl, I've seen all that shit. And they just built together. And when you say build together and have this relation, they eat that shit up. They eat that shit up. And it's really a whole bunch of bullshit, because you'll never get her super submissive. You'll never get her I mean, you can, but it takes a lot of work and effort. But you'll never get her you'll never be super dominant like that. But you got to feed into the narrative that's given in society, because when you feed into it, they believe it. And when you feed into it and you know how they think, you could take advantage of these bitches so much. So you be like, oh, well, oh yeah, that's just ideal for me. Like one day you take care of dinner, one day I take care of dinner, right? And it doesn't matter. You could say all this shit at the beginning, but around the third or fourth date, you could stop going out, just coming over her house and just keep fucking her, especially if you delivering good dick. You got it like that. And if you do take her out, be like, oh, babe, I just want to chill and stay in the crib. You know, I'm more of an indoor person. Let's just watch TV. Oh, you want me to get you food? You know what, something from the store? And you buying cheap things like McDonald's, shit that I don't even eat, shit that I don't believe in, but cheap little things. Go get some Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is like a little upstandard higher, right? So you're not spending that much money. You say, I don't really want to go. Every once in a while, you could spend a little more, buy some movie tickets, but that ain't gonna cost you shit, right? So, but this is ideal, and this is something that you want to tell her that this is ideal for you, and this is something that you feel is ideal as far as a relationship goes. So now she has the understanding that, oh yeah, 50-50, yeah, that's cool, because most people believe in the 50-50 bullshit. And yeah, I know me personally, I don't believe in the 50-50 bullshit. It doesn't really work out, not as far as how I want my relationship dynamics to be. But a lot of women believe in it, so because they believe in that bullshit ass narrative, it's real easy to manipulate them. Now, when you start asking for shit, once you establish those, now you start asking for shit when you're doing this dark game. But you have to start very small. You have to start very small. Now, there was a study years ago that I remember learning in college where there were homeowners. And they kept going to these homeowners, and they were asking these homeowners for favors. And what they did was, they knocked on the homeowner's door, and they was like, "Hey, do you mind if we just put a small advertisement in front of your house, like a very small, like no longer than like 10 inches in length, like 5 inches in width, a small little sign, and we can put it in front of your house just to help advertise. It's for a good cause. It's for a great cause, right?" And a lot of people said yes, and a lot of people said no. But the people that said yes, that agreed to the small thing at first, later on, when those people came back around, they asked them, "Oh, hey, how's it going? Thank you for putting up the post. Do you mind if we put just a little bit bigger of a billboard in front of your house?" They said yes. And then most of the people that said yes, most, not all, but most of them, they even went for like a really big ass billboard in the front of their house, and they agreed to it. They agreed to it. And the thing is, when the whole point of the study is, when you ask people for favors on small things and they comply, chances are when you come with the next and the next and the next, they will comply also. And you see this a lot of times with people talking about like the vaccines, right? They say, "Oh, all you got to do is take one shot and then a second shot," right? Okay, now they're talking about boosters, and everybody, yeah, you got to take the booster now. Because most likely, if people are going to comply with the first and the second, they're going to comply with the third, fourth, and fifth, because they know this is just a psychology of it. They know that if we got them to do it before, we'll get them to do it again. That's like with email marketing. When you buy something and you buy something at a specific place or a specific store, and they get your email down, then they can start emailing you. And then this is how you drive sales. That's why game and sales are kind of very similar, right? So when you're doing this dark game and you start to ask her for favors, and at the beginning you start small. So you say, "Oh, you'd be like, so babe, hey babe, oh, if she's coming over, it'd be like, "Oh babe, oh, can you stop by the store and just grab some snacks?" Or, "Oh babe, can you hey babe, can you do me a favor? Can you just go to the store and get me a drink right quick? Oh, thanks babe, I love you. Give me a kiss." All right, boom, you know? You ever see those pictures of those videos when a girl's buying something, he has her arms and he's wrapped around her from behind, and it'd be like when your girl pay for everything, right? And, you know, and then you can be like, "Oh, babe, when you come over, you mind grabbing some dinner? I'm fucking starving. I got nothing to eat here," right? "Oh, babe, you mind grabbing some fucking, what you in the mood for? Did you eat? Are you hungry too? What you thinking? What you in the mood for?" "Oh, you know, da-da-da-da. Yeah. Oh, you want to get TGI Fridays? Oh, yeah, just get it to go, babe. I got a perfect movie for us to watch." Right? And next thing you know, you're using her, especially if you're dicking her down good. And a lot of girls fall into this. A lot of girls succumb to this. Next thing you know, you go a little bit higher, just a little bit higher. Oh, babe, you could throw hints. You could be like, oh, damn, this new game is coming out, but I got a whole bunch of bills. I can't afford it right now. Oh, what is it? What is it, babe? Oh, the new 2K, it's coming out. It's whatever. I'll just get it like maybe 2 months from now. Sometimes you can drop little hints and she'll just buy it for you and won't say anything. Or you can just be like, oh, babe, can you, babe, do me a favor right quick. Give me this. And you got to pay her back at some point, maybe once or twice. I'm like, oh, babe, do me a favor. Can you, give me 2K? Maybe she complain like, damn, like, I always buy you stuff. Like, come on, babe, don't be like that. You know I love you, right? You're the only thing I got. Like, what the fuck? Come on. She get you the 2K. You're going to have to deliver some good dick that night. But you guys can't be so, overt with it. You got to buy her little things sometimes, too. Small things. Never spend more than $20, $30, right? And when you do that, it's like, you got to do it in a manner where it's like, where it seems as if, you're doing a lot, but you're really not. And it starts small. You have to start small, because remember, when you start small and they comply with the small things, chances are they will comply with the bigger things. So after you do that, and then you start you start moving on to big things like, damn, I really want to call your babe, do me a favor, put this lease in your name. Put the car in your name, and just like, and then you could transfer it to my name after. Yo, babe, let me borrow $2,000-$3,000. I'll pay you back. I swear to God, I'll pay you back. And you gotta pay. You can pay her back some, but you never paid her back the full amount. Give her like a fucking $1,000. She give you $3. You give her like $1,000, $1,500. Like, yo, babe, I'm gonna pay you back. Like, I just brought dinner last night. Don't that count for something? And if she loves you so much, if you've been dicking her down, you've been busting nuts in her, you've been like, your game is so tight. You know what I'm saying? Giving that real beta game, but balancing it out by not talking to her for 8, 10 hours, 12 hours, almost a whole day sometime. And when it's very balanced out, then you got her. Because you already built that attachment, especially when you've been doing this for months. Oh, babe, put this lease apartment in your name or shit like that. Or, damn, I really need a car. I really need this, that, and the third. And when you start very small, then after 2 to 3, 4 months, even if so much more, a year, because some motherfuckers been doing this since the beginning of time. You know how many stories I heard how motherfuckers back in the day had whole families on the other side of town, and their whole family never even knew until the motherfuckers was adults? Well, one, that's technology. A lot of you motherfuckers be getting caught up in the technology, posting shit. If you don't have internet, not internet. You live in a fucking rock. If you don't have social media, this would be a lot easier for you. A lot of motherfuckers get caught on social media. If you don't have social media, this would be a lot easier for you. But a motherfucker who's smart, like myself, you can use social media to your advantage. Like, oh yeah, babe, I posted. You post it on your personal story. Or you can post it on your story, but block your other girlfriends from fucking seeing your story. Simple. And you gotta block them at this point. And even sometimes when you post it, like, oh, that's just a friend. But you gotta be careful with the friendship, because if you're gonna eventually make this girl your girlfriend and you're purposely pulling dark game, those are the little nuances that she can pick up on that will trigger her intuition. How do you trick a woman's intuition? You don't do anything that's off. You don't do anything that doesn't calibrate. Anything that doesn't flow easily. Things that don't make sense. Like you motherfuckers saying, oh yeah, babe, I'm gonna holler at you. I'm gonna go to sleep. It's 7 o'clock at fucking night. You go, who the fuck goes to sleep at 7:30 p.m.? You guys gotta be smarter. You have to make sure your routine stays the same. When your routine doesn't stay the same and it falls off and you start acting a little suspicious, and a lot of you motherfuckers getting caught up in your feelings, and you start loving one bitch more than the other, you start neglecting her, and you can't maintain that same treatment that you had at the beginning. It's going to be off to her. She's going to know it. She's going to pick up on that. And people are naturally, I feel like a lot of people are so like fucking negative that they just fucking think the worst automatically. But when you're doing this kind of dark game, you gotta stay sharp. You gotta stay sharp. Now, when you're getting things out of a girl like this, it works a lot better when she believes you're her girlfriend. So when you make her your girlfriend, and after 3 to 4 months, and she knows she's your girlfriend, then you gotta start selling her dreams. Selling her dreams on marriage, selling her dreams on being together forever. Talking about, babe, so if we were to get married, where would you want the honeymoon to be? Like randomly, oh babe, I got a question. How many kids you want? You want 3 kids? Damn, that's it. I want 4. We could do 4, right? You're not bad with that. Like little shit like that, right? Little shit. Your dynamics have to be on point. You have to be sharp. If you're pulling off this dark game, you have to be sharp. And you can't slip up with this shit. Because it'll come back to bite you. And because you're being so beta, and you're not exactly having the ethical, being your ethical alpha, right? Quote unquote. When she acts crazy, you have to do it. You have to deal with it. I mean, you can still set those boundaries at the beginning, but like, I hate crazy girls. Girls that just like, I broke up with so many girls because they act crazy. Remember, you have to set your boundaries. And you have to stay sharp. But you also have to learn to adapt. Survival of the fittest. People who survive adapt. You have to adapt. And you have to mold yourself to that girl. Now, a lot of times, you want to be careful at the beginning when they have certain political views. You know, you can mold yourself to them to say you agree. But sometimes if there's a little bit pretty of a girl, you have to polarize it just a little bit. You have to polarize it you still have to game her, right? So you got to be careful with the beta game. So you have to disagree on something. You got to tease her on something. You still got to have some type of game, right? And when you're doing the relationship shit, there has to be some type of polarization. So if she's a political view, she's a feminist, be like, oh yeah, I would definitely stick up for feminists. But one thing I don't like is how the feminists try to downgrade men. Like, I don't like that. Like, I could agree with you, I could support you, but I don't believe that, like, why they got to downgrade men? Why they got to say all men ain't shit? Like, I don't like that, right? She'd be like, oh, I support LGBT. Oh yeah, I do too. Maybe I do too. I just don't like how they try to force it. I feel like they try to force it. Like, if I say I don't roll that way, like, how am I a homophobe because I don't want to hook up with a transgender? Like, little shit like that. You can say I agree they have their way, but you know, deep down you don't agree with none of it. But you're just saying whatever the fuck you want to get your way because you on savage mode, right? You on motherfucking savage mode. So you don't fuck about none of that shit. But you have to understand, for the sake of the relationship, so she has some type of respect for you, you have to polarize and disagree about something. Though it may be minor, you have to polarize that relationship somehow. So, when you're getting this shit out of females, and you want to start getting those big ticket items, these are some ingredients when you're trying to pull off dark game. And this dark game shit ain't no fucking joke. Some disclosures. You can really fuck up, or you can really... These women, though, they don't take accountability for their actions, so they really will act crazy. You have to make sure you're dealing with women that are not crazy, because you pulling this type of shit and you're not really setting those alpha standards where it's like she has an ultimate respect for you, and she still can here too, but it's just not the same when you're playing that ethical, that pure game, right? Because this is the player game. She could attack you, she could fight you, you know, and even if she's mad at you, a lot of the times you just want to give her some beta game. Oh baby, don't be mad. Come here, give me a kiss. Come here, stop. Come here. You know I love you, right? And sometimes when she do that whole thing, usually when a girl's like mad at you and they want to be catered to, I give a bitch one time. Me myself, I'd be like, you good? I'm fine. Okay, well, then I'll leave that bitch alone until she come back around. After that, it's over. Then she'll come back around, and when she's ready to talk, she'll talk. Because you're an adult. You can use your words. I'm not about to baby you. I'm not about to kiss up to you. I'm not about to kiss no ass. I might kiss a little ass, but that's actually like literally not. But you get the point. But when you're doing this, when you're trying to run that beta game on her, you're like, oh baby, come here. Because and it's okay in that moment because you gotta understand you're about to neglect this bitch for how many ever hours and how a day or two or however you're gonna spend with your other girl. But my thing is you have to set these standards from the beginning. Now this is premium fucking game. And this is gonna be on Patreon. So if you're ever gonna see this again, you gotta be on Patreon. I'm recording on YouTube, but once I end this live, that's it. So I hope you motherfuckers was taking notes. We're gonna end it off here. Abdul, you need to join the chat more and get your game up. You're getting older. Miss this shit though. This is dark game. You don't need to learn about none of this shit. This is horrible. But anyway. All right, guys. I gotta get to my night. I gotta go watch Power. I didn't even watch Power yet, but holla at y'all. Make sure you subscribe to Patreon. Make sure you hit the link in the bio. Hit the link in the bio. Subscribe to Patreon. Subscribe to the podcast. Get your sauce up. Subscribe to YouTube. This will be on YouTube. Make sure you cop your fisherman glasses. Boom, boom, boom. And if you want to book a private consultation, hit the link in the bio. Also, the number is in the bio. Text my assistant and book your private consultation today. And this shit ain't free. Stop thinking this shit is free. All right, guys. Make sure you hit me with a follow. Everybody who watches this video, please make sure you like it. Like and subscribe. I'll holla at y'all. Let's see what we got on YouTube. Oh, TubeU. Some motherfucking dark game for y'all asses. Anyway, I'll holla at y'all. We're going to end it off here.